just not to lose any time, we will slowly start with this session. It's the 9th session of the Esport Lunch Lectures after a short summer break. As always, a short disclaimer, we will be recording, or we are already recording this session. And we start off our lunch lectures after the summer break with our very first guest, Marsha, who is legal counsel at Navi and who has graciously accepted our invitation to give us some insights, in-house insights on how to balance business interests and legal requirements and aspects. As usual, when I give the word to Marsha in just a second, we will hear her insights and afterwards have time for questions and discussion on any topic that comes up. So it's pretty open format then. I think that's already it. Marsha, a bit late, but over to you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for inviting, for having me. I am honored, proud, because I was on all the previous editions, so it's like real honor to be here. Hi everyone. Today I will be talking about in-house perspective on everything I bet you pretty well know. But as you know, sometimes law firms are a little bit different from in-house, so let me share how we try to balance the business interest and legal implications, especially in some challenging spheres. So I will really briefly talk about what we generally do, but what I really want to discuss today is the functions during challenging times. And here, 3 core things is relocate of the players, crisis relocate of the players actually, pushing the sanctions and working with the sanctions, and adapting to new legal environment. For now, our new legal environment is Germany, so I think it will be interesting for you what we outside lawyers think about German legal framework. So yeah, and of course, in the end, I will be really happy to hear your questions and discuss something in more details. So you might know Navi that well because we are not from Europe, actually. We are from Ukraine and we emerged back in 2009. We won first Dota TI, we won PGL Stockholm Major. And today we have 12 teams, 12 partner sponsors. We have really top ranking teams, for example, CSGO team, or you might heard that we have Simple, he is the best CSGO player in the world. We have 5 leagues or revenue share programs and 3 operating jurisdictions. Here I already include Germany. So generally, I prefer, as I work as an in-house lawyer, I prefer to focus not on the spheres of law we work with, but with directions, let's say stakeholders, internal, external. Of course, it's players, it's sponsors and partners, tournament participation agreements and taxes during the payment, merch, because we have our own shop and we have our own manufacturing. We have a lot of collaborations with the Ukrainian designers. Of course, it's operations, and as you understand, it's operations in several jurisdictions, and league and revenue share programs. So as you see, basically we deal with the contracts, it's our must-have, of course, with taxes, employment, intellectual property, everything, a little bit of everything. And if we talk about a little bit more traditional legal approach in terms of the spheres, contracts, tax customs, intellectual property, corporate, employment, and migration. So generally, we cover everything, but whenever we need something specific, for example, dispute resolution, any kind of complicated litigation, we don't do it ourselves for sure, we just go to particular country and hire a specific lawyer. Or for example, if we need some tax advice in particular jurisdiction, we first do our study and then formulate very specific questions and go and ask particular advisors, couple advisors actually, to support our position or tell what is the right one. But what is personally really interesting to me is how to work during the crisis time, the challenging time, and this is obviously for our company, was the Russian invasion in end of the February. So our company was positioned as the leader in the so-called CIS markets. A lot of leagues started to transfer in CIS to EMEA region, particularly Ukraine was transferred to EMEA region, but still we had players from Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, a lot of other countries. We had, before even invasion, we had a lot of European rosters, like Rainbow Six Siege, for example. But still, like our major pool of players was from Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus. So we had to decide what to do. And the first challenge for us was relocating the players and staff. When it comes to relocating of the players, we talk about 3 categories of players. The first for us was Ukrainian players. We had either to relocate them or to ensure they can stay where they were. For example, our CSGO roster at the day of the competition, they were in Poland during the Katowice competition. So we had to ensure that we can apply for temporary protection kind of enforced by European Union, and that they can safely stay, and what is more important, continue traveling, obtaining visas in the EU countries. So we had to do a very broad research, identifying where they can apply, what are the conditions, how the conditions apply in very specific in every specific case, and what is really important for us, how fast will they get the documents, for example. And talking about staff, yeah, of course, it's like arranging also their relocate if they want. And the new challenge was that some of our people now in the armed forces of Ukraine, so we had to ensure that employment things are at stake. Talking about the Russian players, we had an absolute majority of the players that decided to leave Russia, and it was absolute must for our company so that they didn't pay taxes in Russia. Thanks God, Russia has a very, I think, old school tax legislation, and the criteria of tax residence is defined based on if they stay 183 days in the country. So 6 months after they leave, they are not tax residents anymore. So we observed the ways, the countries where to relocate them and how to ensure they get the residence permits there. As you maybe know, a lot of Russian organizations, like those who have Russian players, they relocated to Serbia. Not that many went to EU countries, a lot of went also to Turkey, some went to United Arab Emirates. We are now majorly in Serbia. And yeah, so we had other very specific cases. We are finalizing them even now. For example, the case when the citizen of Belarus lived in Ukraine for a long time, having all residence permits at stake, but had to run away and actually unlawfully come into Poland without visa. But at the beginning of invasion, it was fine for Poland. And only now we managed to get the humanitarian visa in Poland for this person, so he could continue living lawfully. No one, of course, will ask this person to go back to Belarus, but anyway. We also faced the sanctions. I believe you're well aware of a lot of sanctions packages. It's 8 sanctions packages introduced by the European Union. Sometimes even individual countries extend these sanctions. But so we had to understand how to pay salaries when the Visa and MasterCard do not work with the Russian people. So this was maybe the core problem. And also how to make sure that the visas are working, migration stuff, so we don't get disturbed by this operational process and our players are secured from that. And talking about pushing the sanctions, as the Ukrainian company, it was very important for us to ensure that those organizations that are directly connected to the Russian government didn't have any representation at the competition. So I will talk a little bit in details on the next slide, but we were actively doing the company searches, analysis research, just to make sure we also support this process and help it on operators. And something new for us was charitable projects. Maybe you heard about our collaboration with BIG, and we are very thanks to these guys for doing a great job. And we sold a lot of merch and got the money and supported one of the defense units in Ukraine. It was really new for us because we never dealt with charitable projects in multi-jurisdictional environment, but that's what we have. And we faced some stuff like how to regulate something not regulated at all. For example, we relocated our PUBG Mobile roster to Serbia, and respectively they changed the region, and we needed the slot in EMEA region. But the slot in PUBG Mobile League, it's like your access to the platform. You just have email, passwords, and that's all what you have. This is so we were drafting the contract in a way to make sure that we definitely get the slot. And you know, of course, it's not maybe most challenging to find the legal solution, but it's of course the business intervenes, the legal stuff. You always need this to make this really quickly. You don't have any time because tournament starts in 2 days, and like you have several hours to find the solution. This is how it works, but we have what we have. Briefly about the sanctions introduced by the publishers and tournament operators. Here is the brief from the disciplines we worked with, or I did my own research and know about this. If you have any other information, we'll be glad to hear and discuss it. So some tournament operators completely banned the regional leagues, for example, League of Legends, and I presume that their mobile discipline, Wild Rift, also banned Mobile Legends Bang. This is a new discipline that came from, I think, from, if I'm not mistaken, China. And we started working with them the previous year. So they banned the regional league and the CS. And actually, so this mobile discipline is not top enough. So there was no reason to tell these players, so would you go to another country? They don't have enough money to ensure locate, even if we cover at least like 50% of their expenses. The same became for PUBG Mobile, so they just closed the regional league. That's why it was good that we relocated our players. There are some disciplines that completely banned the players in the region unless they changed their region. Brawl Stars, we have one of the top rosters in the world in Brawl Stars, but luckily just the people who were Russians and were in Brawl Stars roster, they left without any action from Brawl Stars publishers, so it was not a problem for us. Apex Legends, we also have a roster, but it's also not a problem for us. And the interesting way, and this is how we collaborated with ESL and Blast, to imposing ban on use of the club identity. Maybe you heard about such cases as Virtus.pro. They now have to perform under the brand of Outsiders. Valve actually allowed them to return the Virtus.pro identity back. ESL Blast still no decision. I'm not sure about if there's anything, because the club is really close to the Russian government, and the beneficial owner is one of the Russian oligarchs close to the Russian government. So the idea was that the players are not sanctioned, they can still participate and play, but the club who is really interested in promoting its brand and promoting the sponsors cannot do anything because they cannot use the name, they cannot use the logo, they cannot use the sponsors' logos on jerseys. So this is, I think, a really good way to punish the business part and not to influence the players that much. And now maybe the most exciting for you and the most challenging for me at this stage, approaching Germany, but actually we do it in any jurisdiction whenever we go. I believe we'll explore more European countries in the coming years. So first, why are we here? Because we got the slot in Valorant EMEA League. We are very proud and happy of that. So we started in cooperation like really long before we got the results from riots, because we knew that it will take a lot of time. Planning in legal department in the sports, it's a little bit a challenge because you need to always to push the managers asking, so what are our plans? What are our plans? What we're gonna do? And yeah, so it was a little bit challenging to push the advanced registration, but fortunately today we are today we got the company number and we are finalized with that. Talking about taxes, crazy tax system. I haven't seen anything that much complicated. Even when I faced the German tax system first when we were paid revenue share from ESL under the revenue share program, and we were surprised how Germany actually behaves with the withholding tax. In many countries, in Ukraine and like in several others, it's enough just when you pay something that is taxed with withholding tax, in royalty, dividends, whatever. So you just give the tax certificate of tax residence and just confirm if it's needed that you are the beneficial owner of the income. In Germany, it doesn't work like this. You need to get either you get the release from the tax authority or you just the government the company that pays you just withholds this sum, but of course you can credit that later in your country. So yeah, tax burden management, we're trying to do this starting from May, because you need to organize everything in a smart way, because some people will not be present in Germany for the whole tax year. So how to arrange this? Staff contracts, again, compliance with employment regulation. It happens in every jurisdiction. Somewhere it's a little bit easier. In some jurisdictions you have alternatives to employment regulations. It's like kind of service agreements, but here, yeah, employment regulations, and you need to make sure that the contracts really can address the challenges that will be faced by esports department, because we had a lot of conversation during the previous months when I was talking to our sports guys, coaches, and so on, and they told, can we have this? I said, no. Can we have this? No. Are we banned from prohibiting everything? I said, yes. That's true. That's exactly how it works. So yeah, it's I think, 6 months working with the German legal environment. Now we are so close. We are closer to it. Still a little bit shocked. Because, for example, I've never seen the jurisdiction where you need a separate payroll company, because everywhere we have our own accountant, in-house accountant that does everything, accrues taxes and pays the salaries. So yeah, it's fun, a lot of fun. And also we face some challenges with the banking accounts for payment of subsidiary capital, because there are a lot of versions why there are challenges, but most likely because of Ukrainian nationality of the director and so on. We overcame this. We are very happy, but still, yeah, we're still a little bit shocked. We like it, and we like it that I want to advise every person in house, do not be afraid to go for the local expertise. I know that the managers in the company, especially financial managers, they say, no, it's too expensive. Just explain them how expensive will be the fines if you fail to comply with something, especially like in Germany. So where is the lawyer in all these cases? For me, working in-house, why it's so different from the law firms, I used to work with law firms for several years. You need to really find the balance between what your management wants and what is not prohibited. I'm not talking about not what is allowed, but actually what is at least not prohibited. Because sometimes the ideas are so crazy, but even these really crazy ideas, they can be implemented. They should have a chance to be implemented. That's all from me. Thank you so much. I will be really happy to discuss anything that you want.
Thank you very much, Marsha. And before I open the questions to everyone, I want to try and save the German legal system. Besides being shocked about it, is there anything that positively surprised you? And it's fully fine if you say no, but maybe there's something that's...
So whenever I approach a new legal system, I know that there is a kind of balance between them, and I still try to find something good, because I need to explain people working on this topic, so why we are doing this at all and what is our motivation to do all this. What I like about German system, it's rather predictable. So because there is a very good post made by one Ukrainian manager. Maybe you heard that a lot of Ukrainians came to the European countries and said, oh, the service is so slow. There is not such high level of digitalization. Oh, and he wrote that, yeah, in Ukraine, we're used to that because, the business works not because of, but against some regulations, and just they need to do more to survive. And in Europe, you're more calm, you're secured in case you comply with everything. So this is a very big positive for us.